begin our look at sports this Monday morning with the anti-Super Bowl. Giants-Jets Sunday at the Meadowlands, and battled quarterback Sam Darnold and safety Jamal Adams made enough big plays to save Jets head coach Adam Gase from another week of intense scrutiny. Le'Veon Bell scored a go-ahead 1-yard touchdown early in the fourth quarter after a 33-yard pass interference penalty on DeAndre Baker, and Gang Green rallied and then held on to beat the Giants 34-27 on Sunday for, I guess, Bob, Big Apple bragging rights. For Big Blue, make that 6 straight losses. Daniel Jones did have 4 touchdowns, but Adams was the star of the afternoon. He got a strip sack and TD return all in the same play. One of the highlights of the day. Jets came in averaging 12 points per game, but scored a lot more than that against the Giants defense. We go inside the locker room for more.
Change on the sideline. Guys were just really dialed in to what was going on one series at a time. And I think that's a big step for us, because I think sometimes we look at we're worried about the end result. I don't think we were worried about that today. We're just worried about what's going to get better. You know, it's a good feeling for them right now. When we get back to work, guys will refocus. We got to worry about the next game.
I mean, I think, all phases of the game, complement each other. So, we got to do a better job, in the pass game, finding completions and moving the ball, and that helps. That helps everyone. So, I think, as an offense, we have to be able to attack a lot of different ways, and each of the phases will take pressure off others. So, I thought that that goes for the pass game. If we're going to move it consistently, I think some of the runs will open up. That's what they did, and credit to them, they played well, but I thought we were well prepared for what they did.
Have to wonder if any changes will be made by Giants ownership considering the embarrassment of this season and this game. Jets are now 2-7. Giants are 2-8. Gang Green will be in Washington on Sunday. Time for some quick hitters. Bob, if I can't get any real satisfaction from the two locals, I'm going to turn my attention to national scores more often the rest of the way. Don't know about you, but the Sunday night game was far more appealing in a matchup that had the feel of a playoff game. The Minnesota Vikings stopped the Dallas Cowboys on 4th down at the Vikings 14 with 40 seconds to play. Dak Prescott, who entered the game with 8 fourth-quarter comebacks, nearly pulled off his 9th Sunday night for the boys. But his 4th down attempt intended for Ezekiel Elliott never had a chance. The Cowboys, with 3 timeouts, got one last gasp chance, needing 54 yards in 17 seconds. But Prescott's Hail Mary attempt on the final play was intercepted. Minnesota 28, Dallas 24. That makes it a little better, especially for Giants fans now, doesn't it? Sunday in the NFL was Lamar Jackson's day, though. Sunday night thriller aside, Jackson may have stamped his name on the MVP trophy in November. On the day, the Baltimore Ravens quarterback delivered the longest touchdown run of his career. He joined elite company with his arm as well. In Sunday's 49-13 rout of the winless Cincinnati Bengals, Jackson became the second player in NFL history to produce a perfect passer rating, 158.3, in multiple games in a single season. The only other player to do so was Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger, who had 2 in 2007. Jackson, who began the season with a perfect rating in Miami, became the 6th player in NFL history with perfect passer ratings in multiple career games, reaching that feat in his 16th NFL start. This came during a season that started with Jackson facing questions as to whether he could be an effective NFL passer. Check. Jackson's beaten Tom Brady and the then undefeated Patriots this season, too. Jackson may have had his MVP moment on Sunday. Looks like LSU quarterback Joe Burrow may have had his Heisman moment on Saturday. LSU is the new number 1 in the USA Today Sports NCAA re-rank 1-130 after a 46-41 win at Alabama that snapped an 8-game losing streak in the series and brought the Tigers one step closer to an SEC championship and college football playoff berth. Alabama fell to number 4 after closing a 20-point halftime deficit to within a single possession multiple times in the fourth quarter. For every Alabama rally, however, the Tigers had a response thanks in large part to their quarterback. While number 2, Ohio State, has been equally dominant, LSU has the strength of schedule and quality of wins, along with a perfect score in the eyeball test to be a solid number 1 heading into the final 3 weeks of November. In other college news, in a pair of unrelated but stunningly similar developments, the NCAA called into question the eligibility of arguably the top prospect in all of college football, Ohio State's Chase Young, and arguably the top prospect in all of college basketball, Memphis's James Wiseman. For now, Ohio State seems committed to complying with the NCAA's ruling by sitting Young. Wiseman, a 7'1" freshman who was considered the top recruit in the high school class of 2019, got dinged over payments his family received from Memphis head coach Penny Hardaway in 2017 when Wiseman's family moved from Nashville to Memphis. Wiseman was initially cleared to play at Memphis in May, but that was before evidence of Hardaway's payment emerged. The NCAA deemed him a booster, according to Wiseman's attorney, leading to Friday's announcement. A Memphis court granted a temporary restraining order against the NCAA's decision. The judge's ruling came down less than an hour before Memphis tipped off against Illinois Chicago. Wiseman was in the starting lineup and won the opening tip for Memphis before scoring 17 points and pulling down 9 rebounds in the Tigers' easy 92-46 victory. We'll keep an eye on those developments. Wiseman could eventually be the #1 pick for you-know-who. The Knicks are in full-blown crisis mode yet again, minutes after the team was humiliated on the Garden floor Sunday night by the Cleveland Cavaliers, 108-87. Team president Steve Mills and general manager Scott Perry trudged into the interview room and kicked off the apology tour. The Cavs won their second straight game Sunday night, crushing the Knicks at famed Madison Square Garden. It's the 11th straight victory for Cleveland at MSG, the longest streak ever recorded by a visiting team. Colin Sexton led all scorers with a career-high 31 points on 10 of 16 shooting to go with 3 assists and 2 rebounds. It's his 32nd straight game scoring in double figures. Sexton was taking 1 pick before Kevin Knox in 2018. Knox tallied just 9 points off the bench, playing during garbage time for the Knicks, who just can't seem to catch a break. Even their minor league team folks can't seem to find their way. An issue with the hardwood floor at the Westchester County Center postponed the Westchester Knicks home/season opener on Saturday night. The team will play at the world's most famous arena tonight instead. Perhaps the Westchester Knicks can win at the Garden. As for the Nets, not much better on Sunday night. Devin Booker scored 27 points and hit 4 three-pointers. Ricky Rubio added a season-high 22 points and 12 assists, and the Phoenix Suns routed Brooklyn 138-112. On the ice, a pair of goals scored 22 seconds apart in the first period, and 30 saves from Mackenzie Blackwood keyed New Jersey's 2-1 victory over the Vancouver Canucks on Sunday. The Devils are now 5-7-4 and will take on Ottawa Wednesday. The Rangers host Pittsburgh Tuesday night, while the Islanders welcome Toronto on Wednesday. In motorsport, Denny Hamlin won Sunday's final Cup Series playoff elimination race in a 3-lap shootout, fending off teammate Kyle Busch and Ryan Blaney and clinching a spot in the championship round in Miami next weekend. Hamlin entered the final playoff elimination race in NASCAR as the first driver outside the Final Four by 20 points. He led 143 of 312 laps and torched the field over the final stage, lapping up to 7th place at one point. He's my pick to win it all. He's had some season in NASCAR. Speaking of some season, how about Seattle and MLS? The Sounders topped Toronto FC in the championship 3-1 on Sunday. Seattle defeated Toronto in 2016, lost to Toronto in 2017, and has won it again against Toronto FC in 2019. Cool rivalry and finish to the MLS season. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for a sports salute to veterans on Veterans Day. Sunday at the Garden was forgettable. Aside from 96-year-old Pete Dupre, the World War II veteran played a silent rendition of the national anthem on his harmonica, the same way he did during the U.S. Women's World Cup run and their match against Mexico this summer. Dupre upstaged the superstars of the national team then, and he did the same at the Garden last night, even if that's not saying very much. Say what you want about our country, we are far more fortunate than many other countries, and it is a blessing to see a man who defended our freedom give USA, the best place in the world, in my opinion, a salute of its own in playing the anthem. Here's to Mr. Dupre and all veterans on this day and every day. Thank you for giving us the freedom to enjoy sports and life as we know it. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C. Stay tuned.